Hi, everyone. Sean Gilliam here. Welcome to another episode of my podcast, Real Estate on the Front Range. In this episode, we're doing the monthly market update for April, and that means we're looking at the most recent data we have, which is from the month of March. And I'm going to take a closer look at the data and compare the year over year statistics as well as the month over month. So you can kind of see how the market is trending. Of course, I'll start here with mortgage rates here in just a second to give you an idea of what rates are doing and what headwinds we might face as we go into the spring market, and we'll see how things will turn out. So I'll go ahead and get out of the way here. And I'm going to start with mortgage rates. These are for a conventional 30-year fixed rate are at 6.38%. And that is slightly down from yesterday and is, in fact, down from a week ago when it was topped out at about 6.63. So we're moving back in the right direction. What changed all that is several weeks ago, we were at 5.99%, and we were hoping that rates were going to stay down in that region. But then the conflict with Iran began, and that caused rates to go up. And not that they're directly related to each other, but when oil prices go up, mortgage rates tend to go up. And so that's what we've seen here in recent weeks. But now, because there is a relative peace and stability with agreements for a ceasefire and all that, rates have gone back down a little bit, and oil prices, of course, as well. But we're focused here on the real estate side of things. So that's what rates are right now. 30-year fixed rate, 6.38%. And if you look over here, a 30-year FHA is at 5.9%, and a 30-year VA is at 5.92%. So that is what's going on with the rates. We'll see as we're getting into the spring market. We've definitely seen the typical activity that we'd like to see. There's more buyer activity, more homes going under contract. Homes are going under contract faster. And we're also seeing an increase in the amount of listing activity as well. So by and large, a lot of the behavior that we typically see in the spring is happening. So we'll see with the rates coming up. We won't know how much that impacted the market until we see April's data next month to see if those higher rates caused some pullback from buyers and sellers in the market. But for now, we'll go ahead and focus on what we see in March. We'll start with Boulder County. As you can see here, the new listings are about the same, down 5.4%. 455 new listings for Boulder County in March compared to 481 last March. Pending sales are at 335. They're up 1.2% from last year at this time when they were at 331. Closed sales are at 275, and those are up 5.8% compared to last year at this time when they were 260. And then our days on market until sale is 70, and that's down 5.4% from last year at this time when it was at 74. And as you may recall, the days on market until sale is the period of time between a home first hits the market and when it closes. Median sales price, $866,000. That's up 5.6% from last year at this time when it was at $820,000. Our average sales price in Boulder County is $1,136,936. That is up 4.3% from last year at this time when it was at $1,090,584. Percent of list price received is at 98.2%. That's down 0.2% from last year when it was at 98.4%. So we are seeing that homes, there's some negotiating power both last year at this time and this year that buyers have with sellers. Inventory of homes for sales at 684. That is down 2.7% from last year when it was at 703. And our month supply of inventory is 2.6. That is down 7.1% from last year when it was at 2.8. Jumping over here to Larimer County, new listings are at 757. That's up almost 20% compared to last year when it was at 633. Pending sales are at 525. That's up 7.1% from last year when it was at 490. And our closed sales, 404. That's up 21% from last year at this time when it was at 334. Our days on market until sale is 92, and that's up 13.6% compared to 81 last year. Our median sales price for Larimer County is $585,000. That's down 1.7% compared to last year when it was at $595,000. And our average sales price for Larimer County is $682,506, and that is down 3.3%. Last year at this time, it was at $705,748. Our percent of list price received for Larimer County is 98.9%. That's down 0.2%, so small change. Last year, the percent of list price received was 99.1%. And our inventory of homes for sale is 1,103, and that is up 19.1% from last year at this time when it was at 926. And our month supply of inventory for Larimer County is 2.8, and that's up 7.7% from last year at this time when it was at 2.6. All right, Weld County. New listing 694. That is up 1.5% from last year when it was at 684. Pending sales 597. That's up 6% from last year when it was at 563. Our closed sales are at 464 for Weld County. That's up 3.3% compared to last year at 449. Our days on market until sale is 88, and that is down 1.1% compared to last year when it was at 89. So small change there. Median sales price, $519,250. That is up 0.1% from last year when it was at $518,500. And then our average sales price is $591,844. And that is up 4.1% from last year at this time when it was at $568,350. Our percent of list price received is about the same. It's 99.3, so that's down 0.1% compared to last year when it was at 99.4. Our inventory of homes for sale is 1,124, and that is up 4.2% compared to last year when it was at 1,079. Month supply of inventory is the same, 2.6 month supply of inventory, and that is the same as last year at this time. So that is the year-over-year data for Boulder, Larimer, and Weld counties. As you can see, Larimer County saw the most activity with new listings and closed sales. So a lot more going on in Larimer County. Now I'm going to jump over here. This is the month-over-month data, and I'm going to change this. You can see there's a trend looking at the 3-year chart. But the 1-year chart will show this. The average sales price is kind of trending upwards, kind of sideways, but overall it is moving up for all 3 counties. And again, I think that's reflective of the increased buyer activity overall. And then the new listings month over month, we can see a significant increase month over month for all 3 counties. And again, that's indicative of the spring market that we're in. April, which is what the month we're in now, this is when we see the most activity from buyers and sellers alike. In fact, Realtor.com, nationally speaking, said that when they compiled all the data together, that the week of the 13th of April is the best time for sellers to put their home on the market. That's when they tend to get the most buyer activity. That's when they tend to get the best price for their home. And so I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to happen next week because I do have a listing going on the market this weekend. So if you're looking for a home in the low 500s in Longmont, it's at 1535 Amherst Drive. Come on by. I'll be doing an open house on Saturday at the 11th from 11 to 1 o'clock. So come by and check it out, or tell your friends if they're looking for something similar in the Longmont area. So put that plug aside. As you can see, things are trending upward. The number of homes for sale, it's about sideways for Weld County, but Boulder and Larimer County are seeing an uptick in the number of homes for sale. The number of homes under contract, you can see a significant upswing across the board in all 3 counties. And again, that's because we're starting out this year with lower interest rates overall compared to last year at this time. And overall, most people were fairly confident in the economy. The Iran conflict kind of changed a little bit, but that doesn't stop everybody. There's still a good number of buyers out there. When I've hosted or visited open houses out on the local market, there are a lot of people out checking out houses. They might not all be ready to buy. Some of them are just kind of testing the market and seeing what's out there. But there's a lot of buyer activity, people that are looking at the real estate market. So it's a good sign. Closed sales, those are also going up. So you can see this is the data from January when it was at its lowest, and between February and March, we can see a significant increase across the board in all 3 counties. Days on market until sale for this one, let me jump over to the average. The median looked better, but overall, with a busier market, the days on market metric is one we want to see go down because that's an indication that homes are selling faster, and that's a good sign, especially for sellers. So that's one to pay attention to, and is also indicative of the fact that there are more buyers on the market. Now, like I said, it will be interesting with the interest rates popping up to 6.6% in March. When we look at April's data, will that reflect pushback from buyers because of that change, or are things going to be moving steadily forward? So that remains to be seen. Month supply of inventory is going sideways for Weld County, but up for Boulder and Larimer counties. So while we are seeing more buyer activity on the market, they're not buying up all the inventory, and so that could be some of the headwinds. Like I said, for not for everybody, but for some people, there's still the headwind of the economy and just a lagging effect of expensive prices and those kinds of things. Let's see, percent of list price received. This is going up. This is a good sign. That shows there's more buyer activity and that buyers have a little less negotiating power. So sellers are selling their home closer to their original list price, which is a good thing. And then I want to show you the shows to pending. So the number of showings before a home goes under contract. Not that this is a requirement that you have to reach this number, but it just goes to show when this metric starts to go downward, that's a good sign that homes are selling quicker. Like not as many people, they're not sitting around in the market as long, and not as many people have to see it before somebody says, hey, that's the house for me. So it's going down in Boulder and Larimer counties, slightly up in Weld County, but it's a good indication that in Boulder and Larimer counties, homes are selling a little bit faster. And then the number of showings per listing. This is one we like to see go up. That means when a home goes on the market, it shows us how many showings are they get, how many buyers are coming out. It wasn't just late last year, even that before the rates started to go down, that homes would go on the market and not get a single showing. And that was just indicative of several factors. One, the economy, interest rates were a headwind at that time. And then, during the fall, a lot of times people already where they want to be. They might have kids in school or different life circumstances, but they don't want to do anything before the holidays, what have you. So we're starting to see homes get more activity, which is a good sign. All three counties, we're seeing an increase in buyer activity for showings. So that is what is going on in the market. I hope this is helpful. If you have any questions or you want to talk to some lenders, I know some local lenders that can help you see if you're pre-approved for a home, and if so, how much, and is this the right time for you with the monthly payments and all those things considered. If you're thinking about selling your home, it's not too late. We can talk about that and see what things you might need to do to get your home in sell-ready shape. Right now, buyers really are interested in the turnkey homes, the homes that are just move-in ready and they don't have to do any work to it, or they're willing to buy a home that might need some work, but it's got to be priced accordingly. So a few things to bear in mind as you're considering what the best options are for you. So again, hope this is helpful. Have any questions, feel free to get in touch, 970-313-6706. Take care.